The day she walked into the glass and steel courtroom, the Korean billionaire CEO thought he had already lost everything worth losing. The divorce papers were ready, the settlement figures calculated down to the last one, and the media waited outside like vultures circling a dying empire. He sat straight in his tailored suit, face calm, eyes empty, convinced that this would be a clean end. Painful, yes, but controlled. What he did not expect was the woman he once loved to arrive holding a newborn in her arms. Whispers rippled through the room before she even reached her seat. The baby was wrapped in a soft white blanket, impossibly small against her chest. Her steps were slow, careful, protective. She did not look at him at first. She looked only at the child, as if the rest of the world had faded into irrelevance. His breath caught. For a moment, he wondered if this was some cruel mistake, a desperate attempt to humiliate him further. They had been separated for months. He had buried himself in board meetings and overseas deals, numbing himself with work and silence. He had assumed she had moved on, just as he told himself he had. But the baby's tiny hand emerged from the blanket, fingers curling in the air, and something deep inside him cracked. The judge asked her to explain. She finally looked up at him then. Her eyes were tired but steady, holding a kind of quiet strength he barely recognized anymore. "This is your daughter," she said simply. The room erupted. Cameras clicked. Lawyers murmured. His own legal team stiffened, already calculating damage control. But he heard nothing beyond the pounding in his ears. Impossible, he thought. He would have known. Wouldn't he? She explained calmly. When she discovered she was pregnant, he was in New York closing a merger that would double his company's valuation. She had tried to call. His assistant had told her he was unavailable. She had sent messages. None were answered. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. By the time she finally reached him, his voice was cold, distant, already discussing divorce as if it were a quarterly report. She had been hurt, angry, and scared. But she had also been kind enough to make a decision that would shape all their lives. "I didn't bring her to punish you," she said, voice steady despite the storm around them. "I brought her because you deserve to know. And because she deserves to be seen." He stared at the child, and felt his carefully constructed world begin to collapse. All the billions he controlled, all the power he wielded, meant nothing in that moment. He had missed everything, the first heartbeat, the first kick, the nights of fear and loneliness his wife had endured alone. The judge postponed the proceedings. Outside, reporters swarmed, shouting questions about secret babies and betrayal. His reputation, once flawless, now lay in ruins. Stock prices dipped within hours. Shareholders panicked. Rivals smiled. But the real destruction did not come from the media or the markets. It came quietly, painfully, from within. That night, alone in his penthouse, he replayed every ignored call, every postponed conversation. He realized how often he had chosen power over presence, ambition over empathy. He had believed providing wealth was the same as providing love. Days passed. He asked to see the baby. She hesitated, not out of spite, but caution. She had learned to protect what mattered. Still, she agreed, believing in kindness even when it was undeserved. The first time he held his daughter, his hands trembled. She was warm and soft and real. She blinked up at him, unaware of billion-dollar deals or broken marriages. In that gaze, free of judgment, he felt something unfamiliar, grace. He expected resentment from his wife. Instead, she spoke gently. She explained how she had named the baby. After his late mother, how she had saved every letter he had once written her, hoping one day he would remember who he used to be. She did not ask for money beyond what was fair. She did not demand revenge. Her kindness was devastating. As weeks turned into months, he began to change. Not publicly, at first. Quietly. He started leaving the office earlier. He learned how to warm a bottle, how to soothe a crying infant at 3 a.m. He listened, truly listened, for the first time in years. The divorce finalized without drama. They did not reconcile romantically. Some things, once broken, cannot return to what they were. But something new was built in the ruins: respect, shared responsibility, and compassion. He used his influence differently now. He funded childcare centers for working mothers, extended parental leave in his company, and stepped away from deals that demanded his soul in exchange for profit. The board complained. Analysts questioned his softening. But he did not care. One evening, as he watched his daughter sleep, he understood the true meaning of loss and redemption. He had lost the illusion that success was measured in numbers. And in that loss, he gained something infinitely greater. The woman who brought a newborn to his divorce did not destroy him out of hatred. She destroyed the man he was so the man he needed to become could finally exist. And in that quiet act of kindness, a broken billionaire learned how to be human again.